Thank you, Rear Admiral. I know that your job is to defend this budget, but I just have to say, wow, after listening to that. I would think that we don't have a problem within the IHS system, that we don't have a scenario, as was described in these two recent articles from just last week, with regards to the facilities, particularly in the Great Plains. You say that the goal here is to improve the patient experience. Well, the experience is people are dying in these facilities. So to suggest that all is good and that you can have a budget that is sufficient from a facilities perspective or otherwise, if we take it back to the FY16 levels, I just find quite stunning. And you know, we need you to be the advocate for those within the IHS system. And I know that everyone within the administration has to walk that fine line where you have a budget proposal that is presented to you. But I guess I would ask the question, have you read these two articles that I referenced from the Wall Street Journal from last week?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
And do you think that those reflect accurately some of what we have seen at these facilities in the Great Plains regions?
Ma'am, I had the opportunity on my second day on the job at the request of Secretary Price to travel to Pine Ridge and do a firsthand assessment of the situation and what the progress has been like.
And what did you see there at Pine Ridge?
I definitely saw a committed, caring workforce who have been working hard to address the issues that have been identified by CMS. They are making significant improvements in their quality assurance and performance improvement, their oversight of the emergency departments, the work with the area office to ensure governance is monitoring the right things. I took that trip also with some objective reviewers, the Acting Surgeon General, Rear Admiral Sylvia Trent Adams, also accompanied me on that visit. And we provided a firsthand account of our findings back to the Secretary, who asked that I convey to the committee his commitment to improving the Indian Health Service. And
do you think that you can keep that commitment and he can keep that commitment to improving the Indian Health Service with the funding levels that are proposed within this budget here?
Well, ma'am, we see the budget as an initial proposal that we're open to working with you and others to identify and help meet the needs of our American Indian and Alaska Native people.
Well, I want to work with you. Know that is sincere, and I think that is so with every other member of this committee. But I guess I'm a little bit. I'm really concerned that with the situation that has been clearly articulated in the FY17 budget, we said, look, we've got issues in the Great Plains with Winnebago, with Pine Ridge, with Rosebud. There was specific funding that was directed for these accreditation emergencies. Again, it's my understanding that we still haven't seen the recertification from CMS for the Winnebago, the Rosebud, and the Pine Ridge hospitals are still operating under this system improvement agreements, and so I'm wondering, has that $29 million? You've indicated that you're seeing some progress there at Pine Ridge, but you haven't come to us with a request for additional funding to address any of these discrepancies with FY18. Do you think that you can address what you need to address? And again, given the reductions that we're seeing in this budget for these accounts?
And the IHS really appreciates the funding that was provided in the 2017 budget for accreditation emergencies, and we're using those funds to support contracts, national contracts to address credentialing, national contracts for accreditation. We know that the challenges will persist.
Is the 29 million that you received last year sufficient to do what it is that we asked you to do within that omnibus bill?
IHS is committed to patient safety and the quality of health care.
Right, but is the 29 million sufficient for you to do the job that we need you to do, and that those who receive services there at these facilities expect and deserve?
We're focusing a lot of efforts in the three areas or three locations that you've identified: Pine Ridge, Rosebud, and Omaha, Winnebago. A lot of the changes that we're making to the system overall are a result of what we found in the improvement work that we've really focused in those areas. We've got experts from the Oklahoma City area, from Phoenix, from the Portland area, repositioned and really working directly with those programs to implement best practices from other parts of not only the IHS, but from our tribal programs, like from the South Central Foundation, the NUCA Institute, implementing patient-centered medical home, care teams. So we appreciate the resources that are dedicated to helping us address these issues.
Well, sir, you have not directly answered the question whether or not we have provided you with sufficient resources. That's what this committee does as the appropriation subcommittee for the Interior for oversight of IHS. We want to help you. We want to know that you've got the resources that you need, because it's my assumption that the three that I'm highlighting here, Rosebud, Pine Ridge, and Winnebago, are just the ones that make the Wall Street Journal, that there are other facilities. I know that there are other facilities. In Alaska, we are a different model, a different system. And I think you know, certainly my colleagues here know that usually I'm laser focused on the situation in Alaska. But I can't stand down knowing that our system is failing so many of our Native people around the country. So we want to help you, but we need to know how we can best facilitate that. So this conversation will continue. I'll turn to my colleague, Senator Udall.